Welcome to Second Listen Saturday on the Parenting Roundabout podcast, where we share some fun moments from a past episode for your weekend listening pleasure. Look for new episodes every Monday through Friday. Kids on stage and ice and all sorts of places. Nicole?
Yeah, so if you are a parent, it's highly likely that you have attended at least one band concert or dance recital or ice show or a science fair or spelling bee or all of the above. Or, I mean, it's endless. It is a very enjoyable experience seeing your child demonstrate their skills and their talents and what they love. But it can get a bit challenging and tiring. And for me, those days are pretty much over with my kids, and I have to say I'm kind of okay with that. But some parents might not be. But anyway, since I feel like I'm kind of on the other side of it now, and I feel a little bit of a veteran, with all this stuff. And Tara, I know that you're kind of on the other side of it as well, and Catherine's in the middle of it. I don't know. Maybe we can talk about...
So we'll just sit and listen to Catherine talk and laugh.
I feel sorry for her. No. So thought maybe we could talk about some of our likes and dislikes about that, stage in our children's lives, and what our pet peeves are, and if we have any tips and suggestions for our listeners. So... I don't know, Catherine, you're kind of in the midst of all this. So what do you do with your kids? What are they into? What are you going to see regularly and
well,
not so regular?
'Tis the season right now, right? I mean, almost every school and activity and club and whatever is having their end of the school year events, concerts, whatever at this time. So... for my daughter, it's the annual ice show, which is basically a dance recital, but just on ice. So the biggest change this year for me has been that she can drive herself to the practices. Yay! So, because it is the way that this one works is that all the practices are basically crammed into like a 3-week period. And there's just so many of them. And so it is really nice that she could just take herself there and I don't have to really think about it. I gave her the schedule when it came out and she has been really good about knowing when and where she needs to be. She has not been good about wearing what she's supposed to wear. I now have, for one of her performances, we're now on the 3rd dress, and it's going to have to stick because the thing is starting in 2 days. For another one, the costume was too small, so we had to order another one, so that's 2 for that one. And then a third one, the girls in the number don't really want to wear the dress they have, but they are not able to kind of get it together to change it at this late date. So... that's a
lot of drama.
It's a lot of costume drama, and every year it's like, oh, this one's itchy or this one's ugly. I'm like, just wear it. Like, too bad. Sorry.
Right.
So anyway, so that's going on, and like I said, the driving out for herself has been good. And for this one, it's multiple days and it's a lot of volunteer time in addition to just sitting there and watching it. So, so that's a big difference. It's not like a school band concert where basically you just have to make sure that the kid shows up in their black pants, half an hour before it starts. Bands.
My daughter was in marching band, and the uniform thing is a little fraught. There's a lot, especially when she first started in band. The uniform was extremely complicated. They switched halfway through. They got new ones that were much easier, but the first one she had things, the jacket had loops on it that the overlay laced through, and then the pants had suspenders, and there was I had to put her into this thing.
Right.
And I don't know how any of these girls went to the bathroom during a football game, because I'm not sure I wasn't sure it was possible to actually get out of it by oneself.
Wow.
So that was, and then I had to put up the hair, which we've discussed before. Catherine, you're an expert at. I was mostly like, how many bobby pins can I deploy before there are no hairs left over to fall down? It's maximum bobby pin usage. So it's not always that easy, but I remember when my daughter was young, I always took dance lessons when I was a kid, and I always had dance recitals every year, and I loved it. So I was going to have my daughter do dance lessons and recitals, and she didn't care. She'd go where I pointed her. She'd do whatever I said. But I remember this one year, we were paying for the lessons. Then we had to pay for the costume for the recital, which was quite expensive. And then we had to buy tickets for the recital, which were quite expensive. And I'm looking at all this stuff and going, number one, what a racket. Kudos to the people in charge here, but maybe not next year.
Yeah.
Like, she didn't care one way or the other, and I'm looking at the expense of this thing. And that's too bad, because it should be, your kid, you should be able to take dance lessons. You should be able to go take a picture of them wearing an embarrassing costume. It's a fun thing. It's a rite of parenting. But it just, at least give us the tickets for free. Come on.
I know,
Really?
right?
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I'll buy them for family members, but every kid should get 2 free tickets for the lessons and the costume. No. So that was sort of the end of that.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
a racket.
I love the sport that my daughter's doing right now because we don't necessarily have to be there to watch. Not that I don't want to see her.
Nicole Eredick's supportive parent. Thank God I don't have to go see her do whatever she's doing.
Look, we're at the very end of this whole thing, okay? I'm just over it. I mean, I used to drive my daughter and son all their events and sit there and watch and cheer them on. She's playing golf now. And I don't feel like traipsing around a golf course on a hot day to watch her play. And I don't really follow golf. I mean, it's not something that, and she doesn't necessarily want me there either because she says that I would stress her out if I was there.
So everybody's happy when you don't go.
Yeah.
Everybody wins. And she drives herself to the golf course and she meets up with her friends and her teammates, and it's a fun time for her, and I'll just leave it that way. She doesn't miss me.
Yeah. So my daughter's high school sport was the best because she was on the bowling team, and bowling is inside, air conditioned, and there are snacks.
Nice.
Yes. Yeah,
no, not with golf. Tennis either. Tennis is horrible to watch. Oh my God, it was so hot.
Yeah.
So my daughter is, so she's doing that this year, and she's quite happy with it, but I've certainly spent my fair share of time going back and forth for various events. So, and I don't have any tips to make it any easier, although having a cell phone helps. But no, it's challenging, and you want to be there for those 5 minutes. Actually, it was funny because when my daughter started band, my son went through band, and he played the trombone, not by choice, but that was the instrument that he was told to play. And we would go to his band concerts, and of course the trombones stand in the very back. Yeah, and you can barely, if you're lucky, you'll see your child. And so, so I used to sit through these band concerts of his. And so when my daughter went to join band, I said, "Play the flute. You'll sit at the front. We'll be able to see you and take pictures." So she did.
I hate that about being in the flute section. I don't want people to see me.
You don't want to be in the
I would like to be in the back.
Yeah.
When you're at community band, I argued with people and made them let me sit in the middle of the row, in the second row, so nobody could see me. It's I don't want to be on the end. I don't want people to see me.
Right.
So it's too much pressure.
When you're there to watch your kid, it's I gotta
true.
have something from this. I gotta have a picture or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was the deal.
I have learned that you probably can't get there too early for any of these things because they're always so crowded. And you should probably bring a stadium seat with a back.
Yes.
Because,
oh my gosh.
You're usually in bleachers that don't have a back. So that's, I mean, unless that's for the band concerts. I know, theater performances, they're in an actual theater where you can sit in a chair. And that is nice. But I find that, the nice thing about band is that the practice generally takes place either both in school and then when they practice at home, it's on your own schedule. It's not with the other the dance recitals and the theater productions. Yeah. Someone else is making the schedule and they really don't care if you have anything else to do in your life at all. It's we know you have to be there for every single practice or you're not in it. But my hamster died. Well, nope, too bad. Or you have a incredibly big test. Well, no, you're going to have to come to play practice. So.
Right.
That can be hard.
The years my son was in water polo, they were probably the worst because they were right at the beginning of the school year. So that was in August, September, October. So the hottest months here. Mm-hmm. And we'd be in the bleachers and there'd be barely any shade. And, it was definitely, in the hot cement of the pool deck. And those were very uncomfortable days. Thankfully, a game would only last an hour, but if they won, then they would have to wait around and wait for their next game. But still, those were tough days as a parent.
Yeah. I went to a lot of football games because of the marching band, and they were always pretty fun because there was a lot of other band parents there and we all sat in the same section. And so we were cheering and the band kids were doing the pep band during the game and we were right next to them. And that was kind of fun. It was a real communal feeling, but boy, was I glad watching those games that my kid was playing trombone and not on the football field.
Right.
I don't know how you as a mom could sit there and watch your kid get tackled without running onto the field and going, baby, are you all right? Talk to mama.
My son's next season in hockey, they'll be checking at this age. So we're going there.
Yeah. Worst danger my daughter was ever in the band is when they were playing, they were doing a marching thing in a gymnasium and they were swinging their trombone slides around and I thought she could probably take somebody's head off if they didn't do it just right, but they didn't. It was all good.
There you go.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. I'm out of the young kid stuff, but I still, my son still does do Special Olympics and he does a challenger, baseball team through Little League. So we're still going to games.
Well,
we're still doing stuff.
You're still doing it.
And I remember you talking about when your son was younger and, they would do school productions and things that he had to be in and how that was really tough for him really because of the disruption of it.
Right.
Yes, it was really rough for him. Especially the practices, the constant pulling out of class for practices for somebody who relies on routine is really bad. Mm-hmm. And then, there was one time that by the time the actual performance was there, he was so stressed out that I just said, you know what, he's not going to do this. Mm-hmm. Keeping him out of it. And then I was terrible person who would let her adorable child be in the Christmas program. I'm like, he's not going to the elementary school for the performing arts.
Right.
Can we just like keep them in a classroom, please?
Yeah.
And then there was another time where I always push my kids to do stuff. And I had pushed him to be in the choir because he has a nice voice. This was in elementary school. But then the performance, he had trouble standing still. And all I could think of was all the parents videotaping this who are going to be distracted by my kid bobbing around. And it's terrible. What do I care?
Yeah.
It's terrible. I should have been there just sitting there being proud. But instead I was like, agonizing over every possible thing. And some parent told me after, I saw how you were throughout it. That was really hard for you. And then I felt really bad because, you think you're doing this quietly in your seat and nobody's noticing. Yeah. Everybody apparently was noticing. So, I wish I could go back in time and just not give a bleep and be proud of my kid for whatever he's doing. Mm-hmm. But, walking that line, like I want them to do what other kids are doing. And if they can't quite do it right, then I feel I'm letting everybody down. Ugh.
Right.
But
stressful.
Yeah, no, it's hard. And then I don't know, there's a certain amount of judging going on.
Yes.
It's just fraught with. I'll look forward to being a grandparent and going to see my grandchildren's recitals because then I won't have that emotional
because they can
investment.
do no wrong, of course.
Exactly. That's right.
But we
something
don't have
to look forward to.
We'll be old enough and we'll just be able to simply enjoy what our grandchild is doing. And so it's kind of like a second chance.
That's right. That's where I'll have my second chance to go back and say anything that this child does is wonderful.
Wonderful, fabulous, the best one there.
And my kids will have to pay for all the expensive tickets to go see things and then give them to me. So I won't have to worry about
There
it.
you go.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. That's how it
it's
works.
definitely a rite of passage, I think, when you have kids.
It is.
To sit through those events.
And a rite of passage for the kids to have to do them.
Right.
Yes.
And I mean, I'm really bad about taking videos because I'm just I really don't think I'm gonna watch this. I always think about my friend who I went to middle school and high school with, and she was very, very talented, a beautiful, beautiful singing voice, and she had 5 brothers and sisters who all were equally talented.
Oh, wow.
And I remember in their family room, just the wall of videotape. I'm like, they just have hours and hours of footage of this stuff. Are they ever? I mean, that's so mean, but real.
That's the problem you get into, though, because once they exhaustively cataloged the first kid's achievements, you kind of can't not do it for everyone. Even as you realize, we're never going to watch this. This is going to be ridiculous. But you don't want to say, you have 35 videos of my sister and none of me. So you're kind of, at that point, you just have to go buy stock in VHS tapes.
And also, for the day when, the one becomes famous and they need to have archival footage of that famous person from their childhood.
For the intro to their TV series, they need video of them when they were a child.
Right. Yeah.
I always look at the one day at a time intro with all the pictures of them at different times in their life. It's like somebody took that picture of Justina Machado when she was in high school.
Right.
And it's
now we need it.
Making its debut. Yeah, you better document. I'm very bad at documenting, and it's like with the Special Olympics stuff now, whenever there's a Special Olympic event, I used to get up and try to take a picture of my son with his medals, but there's 5 other people taking pictures, and I know they're all going to put them on Facebook, and I'll just download the ones I want. Why am I bothering?
Exactly. Right. That's how I do it now, too.
I have become so lazy.
Yeah, I look for other people's photos and just download them.
And it's hard taking pictures on ice. So especially just if you're just using an iPhone. So I I have a couple of friends who take pictures with a real camera who sometimes will take some of mine, or sometimes I do buy pictures once in a while.
They have like a professional service that does it, right?
Yeah.
That's nice.
So sometimes they charge just absolutely exorbitant prices, but sometimes you can get a reasonable fee and or split it with the team.
That's true. Yeah. Someone on retainer to take your pictures for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No. My husband's been, he was always very good taking footage. I think I brought this up in an earlier podcast.
Oh, that's right.
I was so annoyed
about
with
vacations,
him.
I think.
Yeah, hauling this big old camera around and videoing and taking photos, and I was so annoyed with it because I don't know why it bugged me, but it was just constant. And and now years later, of course, I'm so thankful that he did all that because he's got some great memory. He's captured some great memories that we do look back on. And now what he's done is he's starting to send all of the negatives and the videotapes to a company that scans them, and then you can get them on online on a computer. So now they're all stored on his computer. So
I did that at one point with childhood slides, but now I don't know where the video is, and probably needs to be converted into something else now.
No, I mean, I'm thankful. I complained a lot at the time, but I'm pretty thankful he did all that. Yeah.
Was he the guy standing at the back of the auditorium or standing up in front of a bunch of other people to take video of performances?
Yeah, he was the guy that was getting up to the very front and
I hated that guy.
He was that guy.
He was the guy stressing me out that my kid was behaving in a non-typical way and would be ruining his video.
Yeah. So, no, it's good.
What did I
Now
do?
he barely takes any, and I'm just like, come on. Like now, all the proms and dances that my daughter goes to and various things, I take all those photos. I'm like, you're bailing, dude.
Wow, what happened?
Job. The pressure. And I'm not a photographer by any means, so thankfully they've been working out so far, but like, come on. You took all those photos of Josh. You're failing your daughter.
Second born syndrome, right?
Yeah, that's right.